Ion Radio is on the air from the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Schaumburg. It is the 2024 Star Wars Armada World Championship here at AdeptiCon. Hello, everyone, along with the 2022 Gen Con champion.
Yeah, that was a long time ago now.
John Thomson, and we have Adrian Valerie and Garrett Vance out tableside. I'm Ken Krajniak reporting for round one of day one of the World Championship. John, welcome to Worlds.
Thank you. I had to work yesterday, so I wasn't able to be here, but I am very excited to be here today. Special shout out to my son, Johnny. He's watching at home, so hi.
While I'm at it, hi, Sheila. Daniel, you should be in school, so if you're watching me, this could be a problem. But anyways, hello to all of our wives and everyone else. Thank you so much for listening in and tuning into what we're doing here on Ion Radio for Worlds.
Yeah. So for day one, match one today, we actually have a father-son lineup.
We do. So we've got Andrew and Justin. Justin is his dad, both in prior. We've seen Andrew on the channel. We saw him twice already. Andrew won LCQ, so we did an interview with him, and he is back. And the reason we're streaming this is table two. We're streaming this because how often do you get a father-son pair, speaking of families?
Right, and also, this is, I swear this happens to every time that you and I go anywhere together. We always get faced round one. I'm like, I don't want to play Ken. Not that I don't like playing Ken, but like, I play him all the time. Like, could I play someone else? Could I travel across the country and play someone else for a change?
Sure.
So I very much can relate to this matchup.
It's just really funny. So what we're going to do here, folks, is let's go ahead. We're going to switch over to the overhead table. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to continue talking. Thank you. We're going to adjust a couple volume things as well just to make sure that you can hear us. So stand by. And here we go. We're going to give you the scorecard also so that you know who the players are. So we've got Andrew. We're going to go over the fleets in just a second here.
Yeah. So.
You should be like.
Adjusting sound so we're not too loud.
Yeah, a little bit of both. You know, I'm louder, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep us posted. If we're getting too loud or too quiet, let us know. We can always adjust on the fly. So what we're going to do here is let's go through our fleet lists. Give me a second as we pull up the first one. We're going to start with Andrew. Oh, we don't have the fleet lists listed yet. Give me a second. I'll bring those up.
Yeah. So it appears that there's a Pelta grinding list that you guys said was on Last Chance Qualifier yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've played a fleet like this in the past. I'm excited to watch it play today. His dad is playing a Sloan fleet, and it appears that it's got an ISD, a Quasar, and the Friend Gazanti like a good Sloan fleet has. Not quite sure on the fighters yet, but this is going to be a grindy battle in the middle between these two fighter fleets.
All right, so let's go through Justin's fleet first. Give us a second. We'll bring that up on screen for you. Actually, no, we're not, because this is not going to work very well. So we're just going to go through it and talk about it. John, you want to go through Justin's fleet? This is the Imperial fleet.
Okay, this is an Admiral Sloan fleet. It is in Imperial 2 ISD with Admiral Sloan, Captain Nina, gunnery teams, electronic countermeasures, and linked turbo laser towers. The second ship is a Quasar Fire 1 with Taskmaster Grint, flight controllers, boosted comms, and Squall. The Gazanti Friend has Darth Vader Officer for choking out people to get those rerolls, and Comms Net. And then for squadrons, we have Jendon, Steel, Howl Runner, Mauler, Saber, Lambda, and 3 TIE Fighter squadrons and Black Squadron. That's a hefty fighter ball there.
That is something different. Let's go through. We're going to talk about Andrew's list. We've seen this one before. I think he's flying the same thing. It looks like it. So here we go. Andrew is flying his Yularen list. Yularen is on a Pelta transport frigate with GAllia, parts resupply, and the TB-73 title. The second Pelta transport frigate has fighter coordination team and bomber command center. The third Pelta, this time we're at a medical frigate, clone navigation officer, fighter coordination team, and boosted comms. The final Pelta is clone navigation officer, fighter control team, and expanded hangar bay. 4 squadrons. We have Anakin Skywalker in his Delta 7, his Padawan Ahsoka Tano, Axe, 4 ARC 170 starfighters, and a BTLB Y-Wing coming in at a sum total of 391 points.
Yeah. It appears that we have a total of 114 players.
That is a lot. I think this is the biggest Armada tournament ever now.
I believe so, or it at least is very close. So I'm very excited for this.
We are going to be playing superior positions today. And Andrew is first. His dad, Justin, is second. John, what can we say about superior positions?
Superior positions, whoever wins this fighter battle is going to be getting a lot of points. That's exactly what's going to happen here. Both these fleets kind of want to be where they're a center of the table type of fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So superior positions like doing a full deploy isn't necessarily going to hurt you because like the Pelta list is already going to be like, this is how I want to set up regardless of what this objective is. So taking the disadvantage of deployment disadvantage isn't a huge disadvantage as I see it right now.
We've got Justin setting up his fleet there. We've got all the superior positions going on. Remember, he has to set up before his son does.
Other way around, right?
Well, Justin isn't superior positions. It's first player sets up, right?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like we're talking about getting set up. And then we're going to get to it. So
Adrian is giving the ground rules on what we can do on stream here with everyone.
So for our audience and myself, catch me up on what type of fleets we saw on stream yesterday.
Oh, good God. We saw so many different fleets. We did see this Pelta fleet in action twice. We saw one of our local meta players, Tom, with his Super Star Destroyer. That was a really neat-looking SSD. The engines were lit. There was a battle going on top. In fact, we wanted to talk about the battle that was happening above the Super Star Destroyer. And if we get a chance, we're going to see if we can't nail Tom down, and he can tell us what happened there. Let's see, what else did we see? We had a couple good squadron battles. We had some fishbowl work with an Akbar fleet that was nicely painted blue with a gold Akbar, and they were the assault frigate Guppy fleet. Mm-hmm. We had
was
Ryan.
That three Guppies?
3 Guppies.
Ah, haven't seen that in a
We
long
had
time.
Ryan on stream
Nice.
with his Radis drop fleet, and boy, that knocked down a Starhawk pretty good with the overload pulse. So it was an exciting, competitive day. The one thing that we were all looking at, though, that we saw in the course of play that we thought was weird, we were expecting for most of the games to be like 10-1s, 9-2s, cutthroat. And the scores, when the top 3 players all at 30 points, was very reflective of a lot of 6-5s and 7-4s. It was a very close competitive thing. In fact, at the end, when we had, I had Fox on, one of the judges, to go through what we saw overall at Worlds in terms of their perspective with the judges, most of the competition was a lot tighter than they were expecting. And again, when you're dealing with trying to get to 3 positions out of 40 players, you want to really run through. It's going to be interesting. We got a question in chat. Do we know the Admiral count and what we have for each? The judges are going to be trying to get me that information later, so stand by, and we will do what we can to get you that information.
With 114 fleets, it may take a while to get all these numbers in.
I know what the sum total might have been, but we're not quite there. From what we're gathering, though, with preliminary information, looks like we're running about 40-some-odd% Imperial, probably about 30% Rebels, and then Separatist and Republic split the remainder. But we do not have all the lists put into the system yet, so stand by while that goes through.
It looks like we are in the middle of obstacle deployment currently.
You know, I think we haven't. Those are just ships on the table. They're not actually deployed. Getting my first cup of coffee here. Hopefully everyone else around the world is. This is morning time for you. You're waking up to us. You're getting your first cup of coffee as well, or tea, or whatever you may have.
Looks like they're identifying what their ships are.
And looks like we've got the first Pelta getting put down now on the table, lower right corner of the your view here, our overhead. We have Andrew at the bottom, and Justin is up on top, just in case anyone's wondering.
And we've got and B
and the so command. Last time that we had Andrew on, to identify the Peltas, we had a boosted comms Pelta, we had a bomber command center Pelta, we had an expanded Pelta, and then the Yularen Pelta. So it looks like the first two Peltas are moving in at speed 1. We're getting updates here. I think we're probably going to see speed 1 on the next ones.
I mean, they don't go fast to begin with, so.
I mean, that's true. Boosted, BCC, expanded. We're going to try our best to keep tabs on where these Peltas are.
Peltas are one of my favorite ships. Specifically, I like both Peltas, but the Republic Pelta is one of my favorite ships. Mm-hmm. It is so much more tanky than it looks like.
It really is. Our game that we saw at the end of the day yesterday really came down to trying to destroy one Pelta, and it took 5 turns.
Yeah.
And that was just a continuous barrage. And Justin, Rasmussen, who was the opponent for Andrew, the flight capabilities of how he was positioning his squadrons, and the protection that Andrew did on his fleet on that one Pelta, the little Pelta that could, was just amazing. So again, we're looking at top-level competitive play. This is what we have for everyone. Here at Worlds, and now we are at the cream of the crop here, because these folks here, they've been practicing their fleets, and they've been working
practicing their fleets against each other more than likely.
Well, in this case, I think this is probably their 187th game that these two have played. Yep, I'm getting the thumbs up from Andrew, so thank you very much. We've got an ISD going on to the table. And by the way, this particular episode is sponsored by Kuat Drive Yards, the makers of the Imperial-class Star Destroyer. John, I've got a whole laundry list of these. We're going to go through them over the course of the day.
With a father-son matchup, it's how many dad jokes you can get in this?
Oh, yeah, well, John, you're a father, too, so you're going to get to throw in some dad jokes as well.
I don't have the experience, though, as long as you do.
I will say it is fun to have you back up in the booth, John, so that you and I can talk through Worlds. We did this last year at AdeptiCon. I believe we called the very first game at AdeptiCon and the very last one, if
Correct.
I recall. And we had a really good time last year. It ended on one heck of a good note.
Yes,
ISD is now moving at speed 2. See if we can get a good angle here to get you some of the ships, how they're being put into play. That might help a little bit. This one might be better. You got a good view of those Peltas right here.
All in a row.
Yeah. Hiding right there in the corner. If we need to adjust some of these cameras mid-game, we will do so to try and capture as much of the field of play as we can. Quasar's also moving at speed 2. King of Britons, thank you very much. Yes, we did have a lot of dad jokes yesterday. And we had the splash damage that I was doing on Adrian at one point because he was starting to tell the dad jokes.
Oh, boy.
I am the Anakin Skywalker of dad jokes.
I think this Gazanti's probably going to be speed 2. Yep, speed 2. Could have guessed that. Let's take up this view. You can see all the ships down the row.
Yeah, we got a slight blink on that camera. We will fix that later. They are using T4. I will put the link actually here in the chat.
Looks like the Sloan fighters are going out. The positioning of these on the first turn is going to matter because both of them are going to want to try to get an Alpha Strike or counter Alpha Strike in. So it's going to be a chess match of where fighters are in range of each other to almost like you can attack this fighter, but then I'm going to completely counter where you are. So the positioning of these fighters really matters.
No, definitely agree. And I'm curious to see where we're going to get our attacks here. Is it going to be the squadron battle first and then the ships, or the squadron's going to be held back and then we start seeing the attacks coming in full-fledged as the game progresses? Or are we going to get like a mix where it's all happening on turn 3, where we have fighters engaging and ships firing back and forth? I'm curious to see, because I've seen a couple battles where you have your fighter battle happens round 2 and 3, and then the ships engage in 4 and 5.
I think in this case it's going to be mainly a fighter battle, and then after the fighter battle has started, the ships are going to start to engage. I mean, one of the advantages of a Sloan fleet with a Quasar is it has such far reach, and you're able to throw those fighters out there. But the Pelta flak bubble is very dangerous, so it's going to be, can I engage the fighters outside of that and then be able to pull them away so then your fighters are safe? Because the Imperial fighters with like 3 health are very vulnerable to attacks, especially with Anakin on the board.
And when we go through that fighter ball, let's go through that Imperial fighter ball again. Let's pull that up. So we have... this is one with Jendon and Merrick, your favorite too. Howl Runner, Mauler Mythal, Saber Squadron, Black Squadron. You've got a Lambda shuttle and 3 generic TIE fighters. That's a lot of fighters.
Yes. And with Jendon and a Lambda with boosted comms, you can extend that range of what you can reach almost like half the table.
I'm going to agree with you there, John. And I think it's just going to be a matter of, I think we're going to see a battle of attrition to an extent with the squadrons. And I think whoever wins that squadron battle is going to be able to make that final punch. If you get that ISD and a couple good squadrons, you're going to be able to take a Pelta out without too much difficulty. And those are hard ones to go. There's the handshake.
Let's begin.
Away we go.
Turn
Here we
1,
go.
Day 1, round 1.
And we will keep you posted with all the dice action as we move forward. We're going to start with the boosted comms. We've got a nav dial. I want to get updates from Adrian and Garrett as we move along. Again, Andrew on the bottom, Justin up on top. Justin the Imperial fleet, Andrew is the Gar fleet.
CommsNet took an engineering and passed it over to the ISD. I have a feeling that's going to be held in place for, I believe the ISD had an ECM.
I think you're right.
And then the ISD can just do its, yep. But I feel a lot of cases ECM against a fleet with Pelta is almost useless because they're only going to be throwing like 2 to 3 dice at you.
Bomber Command Center has got a nav, using it as the dial. I think we're going to jump to speed 2 here. I kind of agree. I've noticed that since the change with the upgrade card collection, where electronic countermeasures seem to be used almost every round, and then it would get refreshed, that seems to not be as often, where you might refresh it once in the game. But I noticed, at least in our games, John, you use it the one time you really need it, and then you don't care about it afterwards.
Yeah. But the one time you absolutely need it,
it has to be there.
Completely worth the amount of points you're spending on it.
The ISD is taking a nav, and it's taking it as a token. Moving forward.
Yeah. We both enjoy using other defensive retrofits. I'm a very big fan of early warning system, as you are for projection. Blanking on the words now.
Advanced projectors on the
exactly.
MC30s.
And in this type of fleet, especially against smaller ships, ECM
expanded
may save you 1 or 2 damage compared
token.
to a large ship, which a large ship, it could save you 4 to 5 damaged in one attack.
Can the cables look bad? This cable is yesterday. Yes. It's a cable. No, it's a cable.
Okay, we're getting some FTC action of fighters being moved forward into a good position. So then they're still protecting those Peltas. Quasar takes a nav token. Okay, we're gonna squall some stuff forward. Both of them just arranging their fighters so that they are in a better place.
Looks like we're definitely prepping for that turn 2 attack.
Maybe?
Might be going to turn
3. I don't know if the fighters can still move. So at the end of turn 1, we'll see what the fighter position actually is. But right now, I don't think the Gar player is in a position to be able to attack in. So his fighters are going to be defensive. So even as first player, I don't know if he will be able to get the alpha strike off into this fleet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on turn 2.
All right, we've got Yularen taking a nav dial, taking it as a token. And definitely, folks, please keep us engaged in chat. We are watching that as well.
Another FCT. Looks like this camera view is going to be the best.
I think for the moment, in terms of those squadrons, yeah.
As soon as that ISD tries to get a little bit more involved, it will be fully on the table, and we'll have the whole battle right here.
And we're going into the squadron phase right now here for turn 1.
Also, this morning, for those of you that aren't here or in the Chicagoland area, we actually had snow this morning. We have a snow covering all over the ground.
And from our vantage point here, we're looking outside. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day. If you like clouds, overcast skies, and white snow that seems to be on the grass, but not on the roads. So this is like the perfect snowstorm for the Chicagoland area.
Yeah. When I got up this morning and I opened my garage to drive here, it was sleeting pretty hard near my house. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I'm leaving early to get here.
That's really not what you want to do.
No.
Especially first thing in the morning when you know you've got an hour to go.
Yes.
And you're like, this is not going to be a fun drive. Moving Howl Runner now, I think. And Howl Runner does have that ability to just give everyone damage as soon as he moves in. But, you know, the ARC 170s have 7 health on them, I believe.
Yeah. In the chat, people are saying that, I'm going to whisper this one so no one hears, that it would be a mistake for the Imperial to engage on turn 2. They need the support of the ISD. And I agree. That's why I'm hesitant to make that alpha. I feel that sometimes with Sloan, you have to be patient in choosing when to alpha, because otherwise you just have moved all your squadrons unsupported, and all the ships, all of their squadrons can focus in on your squads, and then that's the majority of your firepower and ability to attack right up front.
No, and I should point out for everyone at home, we are probably about 5 feet away from the table, so we're relatively close. They can hear everything we could say. Actually, when we were 15 feet away, they could occasionally hear, especially my voice. It carries. Especially when I'm doing my radio announcer. Voice is being pointed out here in the chat.
Yeah. Detroit has 3 inches of snow right now. Oof. It's pretty late in the year to be getting. We're almost April.
Well, yeah, but that, you know, we haven't hit opening day baseball yet.
True.
So we're going to get a little bit of snow. Actually, I think that's this week, isn't it, folks? People in the chat can let me know.
I always tell people in the Chicagoland area that you have to worry about snow all the way up to Mother's Day. Usually, Mother's Day is the latest that you'll see snow. So we're not there yet.
My birthday's in June. I don't remember a birthday that I've had snow, so hopefully it won't happen. No, I don't believe Cherno is on the list. I'll double check real quick. No. We're still waiting for all the lists. They're filling them in, they being the judges.
Quick question for the table. Did Nita switch out for the contain on the ISD? Yeah, I figured that's the token you're going to get rid of. So I just wanted to verify. Sometimes you could do something tricky depending on the types of fleet that you're going against. If it's heavy bomber, sometimes having that contain to avoid taking a crit that you don't need it can be useful, but an evade is far more useful than a contain in almost every situation.
Oh, I've been told that opening day for baseball's already happened. Okay, well, that's okay. You want to listen to the balls and strikes here at Armada, and we're going to tell you every close play.
Yeah.
And you get to hear it from me and John.
Yeah, so a question from Chad is how Ryan and myself did in the last chance qualifier. I did not play. I had to work yesterday, so I was not playing in the last chance qualifier. But Ryan did play, and I believe he took, was it second or third?
It was second place. So he clearly made it into, I think he was one of the 3 players that did get 30 points. So 3 players that made it in, I know, got the 30 points.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if we had to go to 4th player or not. We can ask a judge as we move on, and we'll update you folks at home so that you're aware of that. But, yeah, Ryan is playing, doing what he needs to do. Yeah, so good luck to him.
He played his Radis list yesterday, and
we just had confirmation it was just the top 3.
And I'm giving him trouble because his fleet succeeded because he didn't have Han Solo in it. Because normally when he plays Radis, and on our podcast, he always talks about Han Solo, and I always give him grief for it because I think Lando's a superior fighter in every way compared to Han. but he's like, "Oh, you got me on that one." When I ran into him today.
Well, we did find out that Ryan was able to advertise how Overload Pulse works. That was the title of his fleet. That's not how Overload Pulse works. And the other thing I'm going to sit there and point out is that we are moving into turn 2. So we are moving along. We are about 30 minutes into the round.
This is what the top-down looks like for round 2. You can see how things are positioning. The Peltas have barely moved, but that's how Peltas move because they're extremely slow.
Speed 2 cap, correct?
Correct. The ISD looks like it's going to be trying to jump over those pesky asteroids in a minute. The Gazanti's staying in support. And the Quasar probably just going to be following around behind, pushing the squadrons.
Boost it comes. Pelta takes his squadron token.
And squadron tokens with the Commander Yularen they get a boost. So, do you have the ability to pull up a card?
Yeah, of course I could pull up a card. What card do you want to see, John?
Let's take a look at Admiral Yularen.
Let's pull up Admiral Yularen. Hang on 1 second.
And we're using FCT again to push those fighters around. Okay, here's Admiral Yularen. So when a friendly ship resolves a squadron command, if they spent a token, then they can activate one additional squadron. So normally a token's just worth 1, but with Yularen it's worth 2. And so for these type of fleets, you're going to greatly increase how many squadrons you can use. And then his other ability is that he can repair squadrons at a cost of 2 points for 1 hull point.
Gazanti takes a concentrate fire token that's passed on to the ISD with CommsNet. All right, John, back to Yularen.
So you can spend 2 engineering points to repair 1 hull zone on a squadron. So that's part of this grinder fleet. The fighters are very durable. Anakin and Ahsoka very much so mess up your squad ball. And then they can get healed up. So if you can get through all their scatters, you can heal them back up. You know much about that in games that we've played against each other.
I do quite a bit. The BCC Pelta is taking a concentrate fire token. Yes, I really do. The amount of healing that you do with some of your squadrons, John, and then your combinations of Anakin, Ahsoka, and we've seen Andrew play with that, where what he tends to do is keep the ARC 170s back and uses those as defense for his own ships and brings Anakin and Ahsoka forward. And then you use the combination of fighter coordination teams to bring them back to kind of keep them away and not hurt. I think it's an excellent combo. I may have to try that out in Season 8 of Ion Radio.
It's the same. ISD takes a navigate dial. It needs to get into the right position.
Time limit for games is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I should point out that here for Worlds, we've got an additional rule to the tournament that revolves around games ending. At the conclusion of 2 hours, players may not start a new round. So that is specific for this event, and the idea here was just to keep it going because we're on tight time constraints. We haven't had to use it once that I'm aware of. But we came really close yesterday. I think we were 45 seconds away from that 2 hour point when round 5 ended. And that was our final game, and we moved into turn 6. So it was exciting in that perspective. ISD takes a nav dial and is now going speed 3.
It is cruising. It has tokens that it can get from the Gazanti, so flying in at that speed shouldn't be too much of a worry.
All right, Yularen takes an engineering, takes it as a token, and
passes
that up for parts resupply.
Yep. They are all going to have their tokens, and that's what's so good about this fleet, because each of those tokens with those ships can heal a whole point on a squadron. So
right.
As the grinder begins of squadrons, they can be healed back up. So.
Oh, I agree with you. Moving an ISD and not running into the asteroid fields there and pulling a structural damage or a projector misaligned, I mean, that's critical to not get one of those right now this early into the game.
Absolutely.
Although we did see a projector misaligned get pulled. It was at the end of the game. The ship had no shields, so it was a perfect time for you to get one. We've seen one structural damage.
That's never when I get to pull them.
No, you always pull them turn 1 or
Full
2. It's the first APT shot that comes out.
Yeah. Justin, when he decides that this fighter battle is going to take place, is going to need to make sure that whatever he attacks, he's not splitting damage. And he's able to take out the fighter completely so that Andrew doesn't have a chance with Yularen to heal it back up.
Right. We're just putting this out here right now, so in the event we need it, you guys can see it. And we can quick key that. We will, of course, switch views to give you the best angle, but right now, if you want to see how the fleets are engaging and positioning themselves, this is a good way to do it. And I think what we're going to see here, John, is a pass right down the center where we're just, it's kind of like a joust almost.
A sideways joust.
That's coming up, a sideways joust. Down the angles of the board here. Squall with Mauler on the Quasar showing a squadron dial.
Looks like we're just going to be shifting them around. Not moving them slightly forward and repositioning instead of throwing them forward. That Alpha is going to be delayed till at least the next turn, so there's more firepower and more support for them all at the same place.
We may have had a slight disconnection here. Don't 100% know, but let us know if you had an interruption.
I think we'll be perfect. Now this is where I start ramming small ships together. The tight formations of Peltas or small ships, moving all close to each other, trying to stay out of range of an ISD, trying to be in the right position to move squadrons where they need to be and be able to command them for the next round. I'll be right back.
Tad's here. We're figuring out exactly what's happening. Stand by. John has decided he's going to move one of the camera angles here. He wants to try and give us a slightly better view.
Here we go. I've decided I wanted to see the entire ISD from this shot.
Gotcha. Squadron phase here in turn 2. Yep, now, John, we've got the full ISD here. You can see everything.
Everything
all its glory
is going on, and these fighters are going to reposition for what's going to happen the next turn. It will be interesting to see if the Empire player ends up using the pass token. I don't know if it's...
I'm sitting here. Here's the way I'm looking at it. Again, the way this battle is starting to form. You're only going to use a pass token if you are waiting for a ship to move into range, or you want to keep your ship out of range, realistically.
Yeah. Well, this is pulling the panel. If you were the Imperial player, would you elf on this round, or would you wait one more?
Well, we're going into turn 3. Let's take a look at the overhead camera here, because I want to get a different perspective here. So, all right, if I'm the Imperial player, you've got Anakin and Ahsoka hiding in there. It depends on what the squadron placement is. But see, you've got all these ships, or the squadrons are prepping for it. And that's a lot to go through, and all the ARC 170s have counter. I'm going to probably wait, and I'm going to hold off. Well, but Sloan, if I have an opportunity to attack one of the Peltas, I will Alpha Strike on turn 3.
I wouldn't attack a Pelta. I would attack.
You go for the squadrons?
Squadrons. You wipe out the squadrons, you win the battle. There's 100. The Peltas are worth next to nothing compared to the squadrons. You kill all the squadrons, you win.
That is 134 points. And that's a 7-4 if nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. I can agree with that strategy. So let's see. Is it brother versus brother? No, it is father versus son. So this is a true Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker type battle. Actually, it's kind of funny in a way. If it was only a Rebel fleet instead of a Republic fleet, we could call it that. So instead, it's a Darth Vader versus himself battle.
Yes, it is. I think that I would hold...
Y-Wings is the most forward squadron. Okay. Oh, wow, we've got the Y-Wings moving forward here, guys.
We're going to have no choice but engage.
Yeah, I think we are going to start seeing the carnage on turn 3.
Question for the table. Can you draw me a picture of where Ahsoka, where Anakin are for the Gar player?
Anakin is closer to Yularen, and Ahsoka is just to the right.
Are they the two far back ones?
Too far backwards. Yep.
Okay. So they are currently hidden, but they have speed 4.
So here we go. This one here at the bottom is going to be Anakin. And the one hiding back here is Ahsoka. So your two powerhouses are hiding behind.
How many players are here today? We have I believe it was 114 total players playing for Day 1 World Star Wars Armada 2024.
Speaking of Ahsoka, here she moves going forward. Again, they're protecting those Peltas, ready, preventing the option to bomb one of the Peltas, but really looking to come in. And well, it looks like we're setting dials. Ahsoka's now next to Axe. Okay.
Where she lives.
Well, hello from the small town in Alberta, Maxwell. Thank you for joining us today for our Worlds coverage. We've got a lot more to go. We are in Game 5 of 15.
Let's see where all these fighters are going to be sitting from above. This is... next turn is pretty much going to determine how this game unfolds.
I'm inclined to agree. I am inclined to agree. Just kind of waiting here to see where we end up, but I think we've got a good picture here of what the beginning of turn 3 is going to look like. We have another person from Alberta. Oh, well, thank you very much, Dr. Keeter. We try to provide everyone that's not able to make it here to AdeptiCon with as close of an action as possible, so that you feel like you're here. And some of the camera views that we do have, we like to believe, like for example, this one right now is my favorite view that John just reset. This is probably a better view than you can get if you were standing here looking at the table.
Yes, that is very much so the case. Just picked up Gar. Gar is a lot of fun, and I think when you guys were doing the podcast for how to buy into a faction,
Yeah.
and I think I told you, because I was busy and wasn't able to join that, but my question for you is, being a GAR player, the types of fleets you fly just depends on how many Peltas you buy, because the Peltas are the most important ship for the faction. Do you want 1 Pelta, 2 Peltas, or 4 Peltas? Those are usually the options, and then from there I can tell you, yes, you should buy what to buy from there. But
the other
I
thing,
base all of it around how many Peltas you need.
the other thing is, it's not just how many Peltas that you need, but all the really good upgrade cards for GAR are in the Pelta expansion anyway. So you
Correct.
need to buy at least 1.
Yes,
'Cause,
minimum 1,
Hey,
up to 4.
Garrett had this great list that he had built. And he's like, we need these cards and these cards. And I'm like, yes, but that one comes in the Pelta, and that one comes in the Pelta, and that one comes in the Pelta. So you need to buy a Pelta.
Yes.
Well, there may be no Peltas in your list, but if you don't have a Pelta, you're not going to have those upgrade cards that you need for the Venator and the Acclimator and the C70.
Peltas are just such a good support ship.
They really are.
You can feed tokens, you can pass shields, they're super tanky. Like, you look at it and you're like, do I really want to invest the time and effort into killing this for like 70 points? Like, can we pull up the list real fast and we can see what each of the Peltas end up costing?
Sure, hang on one second.
They cost flagship 80, the bombers 56, boosted is 60, and the expanded is 61. It's barely worth the effort. It takes so much effort to kill one of them.
We do not have the lists in T4 yet. I think all we have right now are the end bit, and we can see the tables. Again, 57 tables. We have so many tables here that what we're going to let you guys know at home is not only do we have 2 rooms full of Armada, we have, I think, about 12 tables in the hallway.
I believe so.
Well, there was 37 out front, or in the other room.
I didn't even see the other room.
Yeah, there's a whole nother room. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tables in here. So that's 50. So there's at least 7 tables outside. And I want to say it's closer to 10.
Bomber Command Center took an engineering and just tossed the dial because it already has a token. Nothing to heal yet.
Yet being that operative word.
Yes.
But clearly Andrew's thinking ahead. He was expecting the possibility of conflict on round 2. The other thing that we've seen a lot of is just beautiful sportsmanship from all players, where someone might forget to do something in the proper timing window, and everyone has been very gracious to allow people to continue to play, saying, you know what, yeah, that's fine, you forgot it, but you brought it, you were intending on doing it, move forward, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So, again, top competitiveness and just some of the best number of people's here. Fighter command teams moving some of those fighters around.
Yeah. My interpretation most of the time for that is, if the game state hasn't changed, then go ahead and do it. Like, being the type of player that most of the time, the whole reason that I'm playing a fleet is to try to get a combo or something specific off. Like, why deprive that of to the other player when the game state hasn't changed yet? That's
right.
Usually my interpretation. That's also our interpretation on the channel, pretty much as well. But we fixed that with editing anyway. So
That we do. All right, we have the Gazanti navigate dial.
Yes, it needs to slow down, because while it's the best friend of the ISD passing its tokens, they don't actually want to get close enough that they're touching. That might ram even with the dial. It might be just over that shield dial.
I'm looking at the angle. I don't know if we have another angle from the opposite side.
We do, but the arm's going to be in the way.
Yeah, we're not going to see anything there. Maybe over here. We're trying to see if we can get... Nah. We'll see. We'll keep you up to date on whether or not this rams or not. We're going to find out here. Did it make it? Did it set? Yeah, it looks like it landed. Speed 1 on that Kazanti. We looks like we got speed 2 on the Pelta. This is the boosted comms one. You're asking about the mats. Are you asking about the side mats with Grand Admiral Thrawn that are the sidebars?
Mm-hmm. I believe those are.
Oh, that was the squadron for the boosted comms. They took that as a token. Gotcha.
I believe those are prizes for this event.
Those are the prizes. Those are on the prize wall. And we were fortunate to get 4 of them here on the streaming table so that we can showcase them. We actually showed them. Garrett rolled one out yesterday, and we showed those. And actually, while we have a lull in the action, we do have a few other prizes that Atomic Mass provided us.
We'll switch over to that.
So you get to see me and John again. But here is an unopened one of the official Star Wars. Well, there's a lot of glare in there.
That is so much glare.
Going to do my best. There we go.
Are those Purgles on there?
Those are Purgles. These are the official Star Wars Armada Range Ruler set.
Worlds between worlds, 4 worlds.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. That's fun. But it's a nice set, and you get the whole tray that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And then the other things that we can spoil for you, because again, they're just moving a few things, nothing really important. We will keep you posted on that. But we've got some posters and whatnot that we will show you in a little bit. So let's get back to the action here. And we will be spoiling a couple other items as we move on. And I should point out, yesterday we did have, John, you were asking, we had Will Sheck on the channel once again. He came in at the end of Ryan's game because it was pretty much over. We knew exactly what was going to happen after that Radis drop. And, he came in, talked to us for a little bit about Atomic Mass Games, what they were doing with the errata and everything else.
After which game, because there's 4 events that you guys streamed, which game was
it? It was Game 2. It was the end of Game 2.
So if you guys want to see that interview, you can go back to yesterday's Last Chance Qualifier Round 2. This year we decided to do a little bit differently. Instead of trying to keep the stream going all day, we're just doing each individual match, so then it's easier for you guys to find the matches if you want to go back and watch them later.
And we will be putting chapter breaks into different things after AdeptiCon.
That's probably going to be next week, maybe the week after we recover from this.
And then here is, I'm going to show this right in a second here, the other
I think, let's go back to that. I think that's a squall move. This is going to be
let's go back.
Pretty important. Squads are being squalled forward.
That was squall. Trying to listen into the players here.
So we might get a I'm going to call it an alpha, but it's probably not going to be a full alpha. It's going to be, let's kill that Y-Wing because it's out there for points, and then wait to see what happens.
Yep.
The Y-Wing actually can be quite annoying in this game setup. So,
well, the Y-Wing, you got your bomber there,
6 health,
and it's 6 health,
and you look at it and it's heavy. But what the squadron can help you do is the other squadrons aren't heavy.
Right.
So you can move it and you can engage as many squadrons as you want with it, basically for free because people aren't going to be looking at a Y-Wing. But then that Y-Wing and any other fighter block grit.
Yeah, that's right, because grit you can be engaged with one as soon as you get with the second one.
So then you have to kill it off. It's just that little bit of annoyance of blocking what you want to do with it. I know one of my big takeaways from last year's World was that how important grit was. And I used it in almost every single match, and my opponents actually used it almost in every match that anyone that had grit was. And it was just one of those takeaways as a player as you learn things. Sometimes you just don't think about certain traits and things like that because of so many years of Hull Runner, Saber, and Maul were the squadrons that were squalled. But after so many years of like how intel functioned, like you didn't think.
Quasar has a squadron dial, so we are going to be doing a lot of squads here. 4 squadrons. 5 squads. Relays are in range.
And I believe we're going to see this alpha here. Let's pull up the dice camera. And I think this is still going to be our best angle for squadrons.
We're waiting for some decisions to be made here. We're talking about which squadrons are going to get moved.
They are discussing board state right now before fighters are moving and how snipe will function in regards to like that Y-wing that I said was annoying that has heavy. Which I wonder if, I believe that's Anakin way at the bottom. Hull Runner moving into position to give out dice later on. This is the point of the game that it's going to be a lot of measuring.
It's going to be measuring. This is going to take the time, and it's making sure we're moving Squadron A, we're putting it within range of Squadron B, and everything else. So this round I think is going to take a while, and this activation in specific. But this is kind of normal for a squadron play, and we do have both Garrett and Adrian are out there trying to. They're making changes on their boards. I'm watching them quickly erase things as minds are being changed. But as soon as they can relate to us exactly what's happening, we're going to pass it back to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, Hull Runner is attacking a Y-wing.
So Hull Runner is moving in so that
That's one hit then on that Y-wing, just with Hull Runner moving.
yeah, I would agree. Taking out Anakin here would be huge.
All right, here we go, and the first shot is 3 hits.
That's not bad without Swarm.
Nope.
You don't need accuracies against all these generics right now, so he's saving his accuracies for later attacks.
Yes, save the accuracies for later attacks.
Saving that dice luck for later on.
And we're planning the second of 5 activations.
We might see a double saber activation here.
Oh, leveraging Jen and do the snipe attack, maybe.
I would prefer to get a squadron closer. This is just my personal opinion, so I'm going to lean way back and be quiet about it. But my personal opinions, I need a squadron that's engaged with Anakin.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then Saber can do his thing. So. No, I'll just keep whispering.
Here's the snipe saber, sniping Anakin.
Yeah. So that should be 6 dice in this attack.
And here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. We've got Adept with Anakin, so we can probably run those.
That's going to be scatter.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do it again.
Yeah, well, here
this
we
time
go.
it will be for 5 dice.
Yep, here we go, Jendon. Yeah. This is definitely a practiced game between father and son. Again, they've played this a couple times together, knowing what the other person is going to do. So you're adjusting your strategy here, especially early on in day one. This is a game where if you can do a 6 or 7 at the beginning, as long as you get a win, I think is not bad. And the cut is 36 players out of the 114. So that's still a steep cut. Let's do the math real fast. 36 out of 114 is 32%. So it's about a 1 in 3 chance. So of the 8 players we are going to see on stream, probably 2 of them have a chance at making the cut into day 2.
Yeah.
And like yesterday, we are going to continue. We're going to stop here and let them do so. TIE Fighter attacking Anakin.
Oh, there's the accuracies.
2 hits, 2 accuracies. Ooh.
Yep, scatter is gone.
Yep. And 1.
And then the dodge ability takes the damage down to 1. Counter of 2.
Counter 2. From the table, I'm overhearing. TIE fighters are not intended to live. I'm loving it. Never tell you the odds, huh? You know, I will. What are the odds that father and son are matched up day 1, round 1? 100%.
Every single time.
We were telling earlier, so Lane Todd, if you weren't catching the beginning here, this is Jendon redoing Saber. And we'll get back to the story in a second here, but let's get to the shot. No flight controller and Saber.
5 dice.
3 hits and an accuracy.
Yep.
Swarm. No tokens. Dodging a hit.
1 health.
Wow.
1 more health on that.
This is pretty hard against Anakin, and to lose him this early would not be good. Waiting for the next move. Anakin is on 1 health.
Yes, he is.
The other item here, so we were talking about when John and I went to Gen Con.
Jeez.
Years and years ago. That was 2 years ago.
I know, it feels forever ago.
But John and I were driving down. We were talking about our fleets. We were talking strategy. And then,
talking about how we would face each other.
We laughed and we joked, said, it's going to be funny if we're matched up round 1.
It wasn't as funny as we thought it was in the car.
No.
When it actually happened.
When it actually happened, we went to the judge. We called out judge, complained, and everything else. And they said, well, you're playing each other. And we just looked at each other and said, well, this is not exactly what we wanted to do, because you don't want to drive 350 miles to play against the person you could go over to their house and play against. But anyways, we did play, and actually we were done really fast. I think we finished our game in 35 minutes.
We were the first ones done. Yeah. We played the full game, though.
We did play a full game.
But that's because we know how we know how each other play.
we do, and it's the same thing. So in answer to your question, what are the odds of father and son getting matched up day 1, round 1? Like we said, 100%. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
If you came in the vehicle with someone to an event, you're more than likely going to face them.
And I know we have friends of ours that same thing. You go out to play. That happened with you and Nick at one point? Didn't you guys play each other?
My first Gen Con that I ever went to, the local store that I played at.
Okay, this is a shot Mauler to the Y-wing. That looks to be 2 hits.
It looks like, did Mauler come in and splash Anakin dead? Yep. Anakin is no more. He burnt up and became Darth Vader that's sitting on the Gazanti.
All right, expanded Pelta is taking a squadron as a token.
And spending a dial.
Spending a dial and the token. So, okay.
So that's going to be what? Expanded 1, Yularen 1, token 1, 5 total squadrons. That's almost all the squadrons that are left. That's a very potent squadron pusher there.
Agreed. Yeah, because the medical frigates are 2 squadrons.
Yeah, that's pushing as many squadrons as the Quasar.
We just had a quick shot. I think I missed that.
TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter was gone.
As they do. We were talking about my very first Gen Con I ever went to. And out of the 4...
We got another shot here. This is one of the arcs. We've got 3 hits with an accuracy.
I think
that takes another tie.
I think that takes Saber out.
Oh, maybe Saber.
The first Gen Con I ever went to, I played, I believe, 3 out of the 4 matches against people that were from the local store I was playing with at the time. So, yes, that happens a lot.
My guess is if you flew in from Poland or Australia, I know we've got some French players here and probably some Spanish players as well, you're probably playing against everyone else that came on the same plane with you. And if you haven't already, you will sometime today.
Okay.
This is a shot against Mauler.
Yep.
We've got accuracy in 1. This is one of the ARC 170s. Mauler takes 1.
Looks like that whole fighter ball is going to switch down lower.
Here's the next shot, another arc again. It's on Mauler. 1 hit.
Apparently, he stole my dice.
Yesterday, someone had stolen my dice because it was just scattered that.
Yeah.
Someone had been rolling some a little too well with their red dice, and it was doubles and accuracies and crits. I started to feel your pain sitting here watching that happen.
Yeah. Scattering 1 damage is one of the more frustrating things ever.
Yeah, you want to scatter 3, 4, 12. But, yeah, 1. Here's axe against Mauler. That's accuracy and a hit.
So that's 1
Black
more
scatter,
damage. But if you
1.
didn't scatter the last damage, you're dead. So
Yeah. Wait, hang on. Re-rolling. This is Swarm. No change.
So now on 1 health.
Yep.
So any damage that comes through,
It's gone.
it's gone.
And this is still turn 3. We're about an hour 15 in. Black Squadron, 1. Scattering to stay alive.
Like every single one of these attacks have been, I believe now we're in flacking.
Yeah, I think you're right. So moving along with this 1 activation that we knew was going to be well.
Yeah. Those one points of damage become very...
They add up. You just peg at them.
We're just out of range currently, it appears. So after this move, the ISD might be at long range.
A lot more Armada to come today. and tomorrow. We did move locations from where we were yesterday. We were out in the hallway. We're now in one of the rooms.
So that was a big work for you and everyone that was assisting you last night, having to disassemble everything after putting it back together to move it.
We got everything put together Wednesday night, and we were in great shape for Thursday. And then Thursday we had to wait till this room cleared out. So there was another game session happening yesterday that was going until about 11:30. So it was about 1 o'clock in the morning where we all finally went to bed. But we're doing all of this to make sure that you guys at home get the pristine experience that we at Ion Radio can provide. And again, a special shout out to everyone at Atomic Mass Games for giving us the opportunity to stream here at AdeptiCon once again. And thank you to everyone at AdeptiCon that's been providing remarkable support, giving us everything we need from internet access to power and space to be able to provide this great level of attention and detail to you. And another shout out to all the judges who are helping us get the best games out onto the table. And we are, like we have been throughout the entire LCQ. We're going to do this through day 1, 2, and 3. We're going to try and showcase as many different fleets and players and fleet archetypes as possible. We do not want to just do table 1 the entire time, so you see the same person 4 times in a row.
From all these attacks, it appears that Hull Runner is sitting on 1 health.
Gotcha.
Mauler? What's Mauler? Did Mauler die or Mauler's dead?
We're going to get a squadron update after all of this, so stand by. Keeping Garrett busy. ISD shows a squadron, so we're going to be doing squadrons here as well.
Moving the rest of the squadrons that hadn't been activated yet into that mess of balls. And you also said Hull Runner's on 1 as well? That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Talking with Garrett, are live from the table about squadron health, that Mauler is on 1 health with no scatter, and Hull Runner is still on full health with her scatter. So those generic TIE fighters that are going to be moving in may be having those extra dice added in still.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we might be attacking the front of the Pelta, maybe to try to strip tokens away.
Black Squadron going into the front of the Pelta. And
1 damage.
Yep. And there's our Sloan work. Again, Sloan only working with generics. No, Sloan's was the other one. It's the non-rogue.
Non-bomber. It's been a very long time since I've actually played Sloan.
We're actually going to bring up Sloan's card here for you. I didn't catch who that was, but we're again going against the front of the Pelta. I'm assuming it's probably Merrick.
Yes, it is.
Here's Sloan, just for reference. So while a friendly squadron, expanded Pelta now has no forward shields. Admiral Sloan, while a friendly squadron without rogue is attacking, it may spend 1 die with an accuracy icon to choose and spend 1 of the defender's defense tokens. While attacking a ship, it may also re-roll any die with a crit icon.
Yeah. So something that a lot of people make a mistake with Sloan, when she spends it, it also blocks that token from being used.
Right, because you can't. It's being spent.
Correct. So, for example, against the attacks against Anakin, Sloan spent the scatter
Mm-hmm.
for that specific attack, then Anakin can't use the scatter to discard it for its effect.
Right.
It blocks and spends it, in essence. And yeah, players are asking about the time.
We're about an hour 10, hour 15 in. And it is snowing once again in Chicago. It's not impacting the play of these players here. This is tie against axe. We have a swarm, so that's 2. Spending out the brace with Sloan. Can you spend another brace or not? Well, okay, if you have double brace,
Yes, that's what
then
I was
yeah.
getting to next.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the table. So you are still allowed to spend the other brace.
Right.
But
Because
this-
there's a difference between the defender and the attacker spending your tokens.
Yes.
But that token has been spent. Another tie against axe.
Yeah. So an individual token can't be spent more than once over the entire attack. But
Discarding the brace, 3 hits. Sorry, John.
yeah,
Keep going.
That's fine. But you're allowed, as the defender, to not spend more than one of a defense token in your spend defense token
Right.
step. That's where the technicality comes in for it.
And ISD is activating. Squadron has a long shot
Against probably the front of that.
doing
the Pelta.
LTT. We're going up against.
The Pelta that's
the
already
Pel-
been
yeah.
shot, so it had already no forward shield.
Yep.
So.
That's 4 hits total. Bracing and redirecting that. I think it's still going to have to take one, or is that all
It's gonna
shields?
go to the side.
2 shields on the side of a Pelta.
Which side? Left, right. The redirected to left or right.
All right, here goes the ISDs moving. Speed 3, blazing fast. We're heading down. Yularen is activating next with a engineering dial. It's going to go ahead and flak a bunch of squadrons. So we're flacking. Mauler is shot. It is dead.
Looks like the right side shields are 0, which makes sense because that ISD is going to be coming
gonna
in
be on the left.
Or port, as those spacefaring people would say.
I did not catch what that was, but I think it was just a miss. That's an accuracy, so nothing there. Again, flanking as many Imperial squadrons as we have. I think you're right, John. This is going to be who kills fighters first. Although I do have some questions on that little Pelta. That's
It's going to go nose to nose up with the
that ISD. Yeah.
Well, you have to remember also that the Peltas and the Gar fleet is first player, so
Yep.
he can move and then hopefully be able to move outside
Get out of the way.
that front arc. But that also then leaves that other Pelta there that's already been wounded.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pelta's only worth like 60-some points compared to your flagship with your commander on it, which is just far more important to target.
Louis Andre, welcome to the chat. Thank you for answering a couple of our questions for us. Yes, this is Andrew and Justin Pryor, father and son playing. We have 52 minutes left in the round. Judges just announced that. Again, we're waiting till we get to the 15-minute point. That's where we have to start worrying about
What round
what round we're currently in.
What round are we currently in, Ken?
If I am right, I think we are still in round 3. We're towards the end of it. Yeah, we're in round 3. We're getting close because I think most of the ships have activated now. But again, with all the squadron activations, that's been holding things, taking a little bit of time. And we just finished round 3, going into round 4. We will update that for you.
The Republic player is going to have to make some decisions here. Does he leave his flagship where it is? Does he activate the... Yep, this is what I would have done. Boosted from the back. This is not what I would have done.
Boosted on the far end, activating, is that Anakin? Takes a squadron, using a token. 4 squads are going to get activated.
Yeah.
With Yularen again, because of that extra squad.
Yeah. Yes, Anakin has already been taken out. It was the Alpha Strike from the Sloan player's primary target. It got down to 1 attack after getting shot by Saber Squadron twice and a TIE Fighter. And then Mauler moved in and did splash damage to take Anakin out.
So, first attack here. I think that was Ahsoka versus Black. Is that taken back?
That is definitely...
That's an Ahsoka shot. 3 damage. Black has been destroyed. We're moving fast and furious. Again, this is because you have a father and son team that know how the other player is playing. They're used to all of this. They know everyone's adjustments here. That was an arc against the tie. Clearly did not destroy it. I didn't see it get moved off the table.
There are players shouting judge. I
That
imagine
was not for our table, by
big
the way.
shout out and thank you to our judges today. With the way that everything's set up, this is probably a challenge for them to judge because we are so many players that they have tables in the hallways.
Yes.
So we could have enough play space.
They're spread thin. That was an arc 170 against
Probably a generic at that point.
yeah, that shot.
So they're having to walk between.
That was TIE Fighter going destroyed. Another arc 170.
They have to. Now we're going to be moving the Pelta. They have this room. They have the hallway. They have the other room. Yeah.
There's the realization that we're running out of time, so we're going to do our best to keep up with what's going on. So arc on a TIE Fighter.
This is Ahsoka making the arc do this.
Yeah, Ahsoka making her move. It's 1 hit on that TIE Fighter. We may wind up just updating you with when they're dead.
If we can even catch it.
Again, doing our best to keep things going. How's everyone doing in chat? And if I haven't mentioned this already, stay tuned to the beginning of our 3rd round coverage. It might start a little bit earlier. We may have another special guest star.
Looks like we're doing measurements to see how close we are. We may be seeing the activation of the ISD at this point. Yes, we are. ISD is going to be activating. We'll be doing squadrons with the ISD.
Again, in turn 4. Plenty of time to go here for this first round.
I have a feeling we're going to... we do not know who we would be covering for round 2, mainly because those matchups haven't been made yet.
Right, we will decide that pretty much at the conclusion of the round.
So Quasar instead of the
They're
ISD.
change here. Not the ISD, we're going to do the Quasar. With the squadron, so this is going to be a long activation once again.
Well, I don't know. The Imperial player has lost a significant amount of
That is true.
fighters.
That is true. Using relay with Jendon.
Looks like a Lambda is going to be attacking an arc here.
Lambda going up against the arc. 3 hits. Counter, no damage. We just got another bunch of cards to show off to all the folks at home. We will be giving that information later.
Right now we're in the heat of things.
So Jendon is going up against Steel. No, Jendon's doing his thing with Steel. That is 3 hits. Counter of 0. Well, counter 1, but no effect. Maxwell, good to see you on stream again, or in chat, I should say. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot of longtime viewers to the channel. Again, Merrick looked like about 2-3 damage. Counter 1.
Yeah. So the order was Jendon to Steel, and then Steel by himself, so he can move afterwards. So that's why that attack had more dice, because of flight controllers from the Quasar. There's that grid I was talking about earlier.
You know what? Yeah, you were talking about the grit. We're keeping that now. Happens a lot. John, my coffee is starting to run out. I may have to get some between rounds here so we can keep going for the entire day. Need to be fueled up. Adrian and I have this coffee habit that we have to keep going all day long.
How runners going? Probably just attacking whatever is around her.
Going after against an Architon, or not an Architon, it's an Arc 170.
They almost have as much health, though.
Yeah, yeah, really. 3 hits with an accuracy. Counter, nothing. Quasar's moving now at speed 2. It is fun to be up here with John. It's fun to be doing a live stream event here at AdeptiCon also.
Also, how odd is it that we're doing something that's not playing Armada together?
That's true. Actually, we're on the same team for a change, John. So in that case, John and I both get to be winners. Here's the expanded Pelta. We've got a engineering. We're adding that with the token. We're going to repair a few things, I believe.
Maybe fighters, maybe the ship itself.
All right, we're making a few shots here.
Looks like some flak
I think we're doing flak. Against Merrick, nothing. Accurate shots. Yeah. Going against these squadrons.
The Yularen fleet's confused if it's wanting to be a Sloan fleet or not with all the accuracies. It's the Yularen.
Could you imagine if the commanders were flipped in this game? Andrew would be just destroying everything as opposed to the other way around. And that, folks, is why admirals are restricted to factions.
Yes. Anakin and Ahsoka combo with Sloan would be absolutely nightmare fuel.
Fighter coordination team's doing its thing. ISD activating squadrons.
all of the squadrons have already been activated. And that is the flagship.
And I am using the Confire token. I'm grabbing it. I'm using it.
Confired.
I will use it.
There's our shot against the Pelta, I believe.
Yeah.
Here's the Confire or LTT first. Okay.
So I believe he wants to probably flak out the front with the ISD, so he's just making sure that he's sane and he's using the token so he can use the gunnery
I
teams.
for gunnery teams, yeah.
Having been a person that has done that a lot, blocking the brace.
6 total damage. Brace has been blocked. Doing a redirect. 2 shields off the side.
I believe that's going to be 1 internal.
I think you're right.
But no crits.
And an evade, so still.
Okay, that makes way more sense. So, GAllia was used, so there is no shields on either side, 1 on the front and 1 on the rear. Thank you, Garrett, for providing that information for us, because that is something that we would not have been able to figure out from where we're at.
No, and this is the importance of having a good team. This is Flak against Ahsoka, LTT, and we've got nothing. Or 1 hit. Yeah, we're LTT. Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Nothing. Ahsoka got off lucky. I'm going to add over here GAllia, just because this is a card you don't see all the time. And what this allows you to do is when you're defending, when you suffer damage from an attack, you can suffer up to 1 of that damage on the shields of a hull zone adjacent, kind of like a redirect almost, for every defense token that you spend. 2 were spent, so effectively 2 damage points were able to be suffered on the adjacent hull zone. So it's kind of a nifty little card. It's like a redirect that can't be blocked with an accuracy.
Yes. This card, though, you have to be aware of it because it has very strange interactions with XI7s.
Yeah, you get into the XI7s, then you're only limited in how you can do that, right? Because XI7s, it's 1 limitation of 1. Yularen taking an engineering and the token.
It's going to try to put some of
fix
those
itself
shields
up.
back up.
Updating shields, 3 now up on the front, 2 on the port side, 1 on the rear. We've got a shot. This is Flak. 1 hit at Howl Runner. Keeping up with a fast and furious action. We are a little over an hour and 30 minutes into the game, so it's about 45 minutes, give or take, to go.
The Howl Runner is double arced.
Okay, so we're going to get a second shot on Hull Run. I think we just had it. I don't know that did anything.
And now the question is, will this Pelta be able to squeeze out of here? It probably will be.
I think so. It looks like it'll be able to do it. It's going to overlap a squadron or 2. Using the token to jump to speed 2. It's going to be fine. It's going to get a good shot from the ISD there out the side. I can't quite tell. Yeah, it looks like that's double arc. But now whether that's going to be side to rear and rear
that
to...
is not going to be there at the by the time that ISD can activate. The Kazanti takes a squadron token itself.
Moving along the corner here. Again, giving you some beauty shots of these ships. And you can kind of see underneath the cards the Thrawn sidebars. These are specific to Armada. There's a bunch of them here in the prize wall at AdeptiCon. BCC Pelta taking an engineering. I think we're just kind of moving at this point now because there's a lot of ships that don't have any shots.
A lot of ships don't have shots, and there's nothing to heal, which is what we were talking about at the beginning of the game, that when you're facing Yularen, you want to make sure that you take out a fighter completely or have it outside of the range that Yularen can heal it up.
Exactly. So we just had a shot, 2 damage. This is Arc 170 against Howl Runner.
Yes, triggered by Ahsoka.
Right. Again, with
triggered by-
FCTs.
Yes.
Ahsoka, it's when Ahsoka finishes a move, not when she finishes an activation. So, it makes Ahsoka powerful. And this is one of the things, there's a lot of moving parts in Andrew's list. But so much of it is just, it's great stuff. Here's the arc firing. Just 20 minutes left to final round, so 45 minutes left in the round. Judges called, so we're good to go. We've got time. We're definitely going to get into round 5. We're still in round 4. We're starting 5 now.
I think this game's going to be very close. Very close. While they're setting dials, do you want to go over some of the other prizes that we were shown?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, John. I'm going to switch back to our presenter view. We're going to do our best to not lose things.
They're holographic, so this is a price and a Draven holographic card.
I'll just take that Draven card. Where is it?
There it is.
This one's mine now.
Looking at the camera,
So,
what's on the cards? Is reversed as I try
Yeah,
to
so
hit it.
here we go. We've got Draven. It's reversed, so it's harder for us to actually run these things. So anyways, there we go.
So that is one of the cards from Rapid
Reinforcements 2.
And then this is the reemergence of Price
Yularen is
after
taking
she got banned.
Yularen is flanking. We're flanking squadrons.
And they didn't get anything. So
Nope.
this Pelta's now going to try to make a way.
We have more cards. We'll spoil them as we move along. Again, I'm not sure we're going to get a good break for the rest of this game. We're moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
Again, we've got 20 minutes left until the no more turns break. Yularen's currently sitting there, 2 shields in the front, 2 on each side, and 1 on the rear.
I know that I wasn't looking at the screen at the time, but the Quasar, I believe, is in range of Yularen.
Yes, I believe it is.
So
And if we are quiet, again, apologies, folks. We are listening in to the table talk here just to make sure that we are not missing anything. Trying to get you as much of the action as we can. Usually with Armada, it's nice, slow-paced, like a baseball game. We've got lots of time to talk, tell fun stories about my hair on fire or something like that. Here's the Quasar activating squadrons with the dial. We're going to see what it can do. But I'm going to say this is like a basketball or a soccer match that we're seeing this last 20 minutes.
basketball, not soccer.
Basketball?
Yeah.
I don't know. Soccer can be fast-paced of who's kicking the ball, right? No? All right, fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to go with you on that one.
There's my ones. Can you tell folks that I don't do a lot with sports?
Sports. One of the girls that I work with, I enjoy being able to joke around with people that you work with and things like that.
Oh, of course.
We were talking about sports, and I made a comment about it. I don't even remember what sport it was, and her comment to me was, I didn't think you were the type to know anything about sports. I thought your type of sports would be in your basement playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, you got me.
Yeah. This is steel to the Pelta. We've got 1 hit there. We're re-rolling here. 2 hits in. I believe that was a re-roll with Sloan. I think that brings it down to 0 again on the front. Yep. Jendon doing his thing. Steel double hits. Changing 1 to a crit. Spending the evade.
To re-roll.
Yeah.
2 hits. Okay, so 1 on the left, 2 shields on the right, 0 on the front, and 1 on the rear.
That is a Lambda against the ARC 170. That's 3 hits. That's
Lambdas become pretty deadly when you start adding a flight controller in when you look
Really?
at their dice.
Counter.
And just like the consistency of just black dice from a Lambda, it's not something you necessarily expect.
No. No, you do not.
It would be nice to see live score, but you technically, in a game, don't know what your score currently is.
Right, and we don't want to risk the possibility of anyone watching the stream and getting that out. Quasar, we are at the squadron. We're using the token. We're activating stuff. Front to the Pelta.
Pelta. No brace allowed. Evading. It's 2 more damage. Two hull points down now.
No front shields on Yularen. None on the left.
1 on the rear and 2 still on the right.
While we have a quick break in the action, I did get this sent to us, and I just think this is so funny, and I really heartfelt. I appreciate it. But we've got people watching Ion Radio all over the place. It's fun to see how much people are enjoying our broadcast, even while they're working. So this one comes from James. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support, and we're glad that you're able to watch and enjoy our broadcast.
Yeah. Back to chat. I believe the lists are being hidden until the end of today, at least.
Quasar, moving speed 1.
You can't get an advantage by looking at what other people's fleets have in them beforehand. Is usually the reasoning for that.
They did actually release the fleets early for LCQ. They removed the objectives in the T4 bit.
Okay.
Expanded Pelta, showing engineering.
This is the one that got shot earlier on and was damaged, just shield damage. So they're probably either healing some of those arcs back up and moving forward.
Watching from Hong Kong. Hello, Hong Kong.
There is an asteroid.
Are we going to land on it, and will we pull a structural damage?
I would agree with Lane on our comments that it is very important for the Imperial player to take out that flagship, because the squadron battle has not necessarily gone the Imperial's way, so the Gar player has taken more points of squads. It's really going to be one of those games that at the end of it we're going to
that was
count up
one hit on
points.
those squads.
Count up points. And
that was the Gozer front of that Pelta. Oh, I'm sorry.
So
thought that was a squad shot, but it was. Yularen now is no shields in the front, none on the left, 1 and 1 on the remaining side and rear.
So I'm leaning into Ken. Let's flip it over to presenter just so we can talk real fast about strategy here, right?
Yep, strategy, right.
Okay, strategy here is we're playing superior positions.
We are playing superior positions, yes.
Correct. So Merrick needs to get into the back of that Pelta and score some
points, yeah.
Before the end of this
I was
game.
actually just thinking that. Boosted Comms is showing up with a squadron.
And also has to keep the arcs locked down for just long enough so that they can't get into range then of the ISD as it swings around.
Yep.
This game can very quickly
Arc
switch
firing
sides.
into Hull Runner. That was 3 hits, I think. It was scattered away. Yeah, that is true. I don't think we've seen victory tokens at all being picked up here, which is definitely important to do.
I believe these players are from Atlanta, Georgia today.
Yes.
It's a father and son duo, so of course they're playing round 1.
I mean, to be fair, if you are a father-son pair, you would rather be doing round 1 and not the final round for a possibility to move in.
That is very true.
There's another arc shot based on those dice. 2 brace to 1.
Hal Runner has 1 health, I believe, left at this point.
I think Hal Runner's got 1 health left.
Arc to Lambda. Ooh, there's...
Lambda's gone. Yep, Howl Runner has 1 health left. No scatter, red brace on Howl Runner. Here's our movement here. Looks like it's snowing again here in Chicago. It's kind of finally letting up. We're hearing rumors that some tables are being affected by snow. Ark and Howl Runner's finally gone. So Naruba, Howl Runner did just go down.
Yes.
Right as your comment came in, as Howl Runner got pulled off the table. There is a delay in our broadcast. We're not exactly sure how long it is, but I'm going to estimate about 15, 20 seconds.
More than likely. ISD has a navigation dial, probably because it needs to speed up, and it's...
This is the rear to at Pelta. Accuracy in the brace, 2. Okay, re-rolling the crit with an evade, 2 hits.
I believe that's going to take out the rest of the shields.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's GAllia doing some of that. No shields remaining.
2 hull points on it, so it has 3 left.
Yeah, once again, Andrew keeping these Peltas on the table. Well, see, Matt, now that's a nice thing to do, give your son a 10-1. If I was going to play my son, I would make sure I got the 10 and that my son got the 1. I love him to death, but this is Star Wars Armada. I've got to win, right?
Even like whenever we play, we end up usually bloodying ourselves quite seriously in the matches and whenever we get matched up in a tournament.
Yeah. Actually, when we play tournaments, when we played that game against each other, I was playing a lot more cautiously because I knew how you played that Starhawk list. Here's the BCC Pelta with engineering. If I'm correct, I scored the most points against you in that against your Farmhawk list the first round.
No, I think it might have been...
Or I was close to it. One of the...
You had the smallest margin
Stars
of
MOV loss.
Me because
yeah, that's what I
other
meant.
people
right.
farmed a lot of points.
Yeah.
In the almost 200 range of points. So
yeah. No mercy. That's right. I take a Cobra Kai approach. Round 6. We are making it under the wire to get into that last final round.
Okay, it looks like a clone officer has been refreshed. Looks like we're setting dials. Let's draft back here and let's take a look at some more cards.
Let's do that, John. While we have that 30-second opportunity, we will keep the dice cam up just in case, so you're going to see that over my head. Boosted Comms is moving here with squadrons.
Here is a very nice, while we have an ISD on the table, this is a Simoon 1 refit card. Very pretty. Let's go back to the game now. We'll just slowly, throughout the day.
Architon's going against Merrick Steele. 2 hits with a accuracy. Steele's taking 1 after the brace. Next round will begin, I believe, at 11:30. The next tournament round, I should say. We will definitely, at the conclusion of this game, we will be taking a short break just because we want to reset things. So, Adrian and I need to get a cup of coffee. You know, that's important.
Arc versus Steel.
Arc versus Steel again. Looks like 1 hits.
Is Steel the only fighter that is left for the Imperial? How about Jendon? Is Jendon still there? I don't really count him as a fighter, but so Jendon and Steel are the remaining fighters for the Imperial player.
Merrick is now on 1 haul. Can the hero of the Empire stay on the table? That's the question, folks. Any prizes for people in the chat? I got nothing. Sorry, guys. Apologies. We can give you a shout out.
Ahsoka moves in and
who's
is
got
going
Merrick's
to kill
kill?
off Merrick. And then Ahsoka against Jendon.
So I don't know if Strawberry Vibes caught the beginning of our podcast, but the question here is there an unwritten rule that first round you should not be playing with the same person that traveled with you? And it's the exact opposite. The rule is you are going to play with the person you traveled with. There's 1. We're Flak. Jendon's now on 3. Or I'm sorry, on 2. I'm counting fingers incorrectly.
Okay, so we are going to
And what ship activates next?
Quasar activating squadrons. Jendon is not activating. Firing at the Pelta.
Doesn't want to be countered.
Yeah. 3 hits, 2 crits in there. Evading 2 of them. Chucking the toe.
If they both come up.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Bracing it to 1.
here's the crit.
Targeter disruption.
So that is going to be 3 hull damage on that Pelta. And no shields.
The target disruption. While attacking, you cannot resolve critical effects. I don't know that that's going to matter too much for the Peltas. At least not anymore.
Is this not a serial killer, Jerry from Poland? That's in the chat. Yularen's now activating
Yularen's
with
activating.
an engineering and has put more shields up.
3 haul down on Yularen right now. Scattered that.
Is it a ram?
Gazanti Confire.
He needs all. The Gazanti is double arc.
Double arc.
So it could theoretically kill it.
Hit crit. It's going to be
it to
braced.
Accuracy. It looks like we're going to be wrapping this game up then.
Yeah. Got a ram, I think, maybe, or they were talking about that, if they ram.
I'm pretty sure it's going to ram.
Yeah. We will stay online until we've got the final score to give you guys. We are not going to give you full tournament results until the beginning of the next round. Again, we want to give ourselves a break. BCC, the Bomber Command Center, Pelta, showing in engineering. Flak shots.
So that's going to leave 1.
Gunfire token, taking 1.
So that leaves, this is why Shenden didn't attack, because that counter would have killed him then.
Yep. About 15 minutes left in the game round. There's the fighter command, the FCT, fighter coordination teams, moving stuff. Can Jenden live? That's the question. One hit, there's Jenden. Yeah, the rule on the table is dice must be in the box. If they fly out, they don't count. I believe that's game then. We're waiting for the official score here. We will see what we have, so stay tuned as we get the full thing. There's the final handshake, folks. We are going to get the information on who won and everything else. So, John, fun, fast, furious game here at the end.
I've talked about it before because I've played a Pelta list like this, and I don't know if I could do it for a tournament this long. It is such a mental headspace of what you need to command and when, and it's such a grind. So this is the second day that Andrew has been playing this now, so props to him for
this is his
keeping it together.
Game 5, actually, that's one of the things we talked about yesterday, and I kind of asked him a little bit what, and we're getting scores. Okay, 132. Scores coming in, just double checking some math here. Okay, so the final score. Andrew does win the game with 132 points. His father, Justin, is 66. Margin of victory of 66, which I believe is a 7-4. It is.
It is.
Awesome. So
Adrian's doing math from the side.
Exciting game. You mentioned that. So when I had Andrew on at the end of LCQ, because he won, we were talking about how was he going to change up his fleet to something easier. He's like, I think I'm probably going to do this again. And all I'm going to say is, like you mentioned, that's a lot of brain power. This is his 5th game with it. We know he's going to play at least 8 games. And he may play 12 or 15. And that's a lot of Armada. But Andrew is one of 3 players that could be playing as many games of Armada as I am going to be talking about.
Right.
So my goal again, folks, this weekend is to play 15 games, or to talk about 15 games of Armada. We'll see if my voice holds out. John, do you have anything you want to say in the end of this before we take a little break?
Okay.
Hang on. Actually, we've got something here. We're going to go to the dice cam here. Garrett is putting a few things in the dice tray. These are participation trophies. So this is the Anakin Skywalker. What else do we have, Garrett?
Oh, it's backside.
That's the backside there, yeah. Nifty little certificate logo there. Saj Venture. This looks like all the Rapid Reinforcements 2 cards.
Yes, and it looks like they're full art on the back.
Very
nice. Really good.
Very nice. Those were that's it for the participation. All right, very good.
So last thing that we're going to show off is, in honor of a Republic victory, we're going to be showing off a Venator Venator 1. I didn't even look at which Venator it was. A Venator 1 card, and the back side of it is also full art.
There's a lot of full art cards that are being shown today, and I've got to say, this is just, again, we're getting a lot of good prizes here for participation and everything else. But I think at this point, what we're going to do is take a little break. We're going to
reset the table.
Reset the table and everything else. So a final recap for this game: 132 points to 66. Andrew over his father Justin, 7-4 victory at the beginning here of round 1. So on behalf of John, Garrett, and Adrian here from the streaming table for Armada, it's Ken saying so long from the Hyatt Regency Hotel here with the 2024 Star Wars Armada World Championship here at AdeptiCon.
We've